Hey there, welcome back to another installment of upcoming sequels where I talk about movie sequels that are in the works and movie sequels that are going to be coming out sometime this year or sometime next, or sequels that might not be coming out at all, but they're kind of up there. They're in the air, so to speak. The possibility is there. And as you can see by the title, it's 164 upcoming movie sequels instead of 162 because recently Den of Geek just updated the list and they added a couple more. So, yeah, so I just decided to change it so it fits because these next two are actually ones that I haven't gotten around to talking about yet. Anyway, they're because this is in alphabetical order, so there's ones that are the two extra ones are ones that are from sections that I haven't gotten to talking about yet. So that's why it says 164. It's not a typo. There's a reason why I changed it. But anyway, let's get started, shall we? The first sequel on here is The Karate Kid 2, which is a sequel to the 2010 remake slash reboot, which I still haven't seen. I've had no desire to see it, and the only time I probably will see it is whenever I do get around to reviewing the Karate Kid films. Now, I know I've had a decent amount of people ask me about it, and who knows, maybe sometime this year I'll try to find some time for it. But like I've said in a lot of other videos, I'm pretty busy. I'm balancing school. Well, I mean, it's just one math class, but it's something I've never learned before, and it's pretty difficult. And some pretty difficult concepts. So I'm dealing with that, and I'm also working on the book, Gory Days. So, and that means that I'm also reviewing all these different 80s horror films. So but there will be times where I will take a break and I will review something or a series of films like Karate Kid. Um, but anyway, I just never interested in the remake because I didn't really think a remake was necessary, and I wasn't a big fan of Jalen Smith, and it was more kung fu than actual karate. Um, I'm surprised it's taken so long to get the sequel made, considering how much money the Karate Kid remake earned in the box office. It was a huge hit. I did some research and I pretty much found out that the Karate Kid remake was the most successful movie remake in the last, last decade or so. I mean, there hasn't been that many successful remakes that have made a lot of money, and Karate Kid was the most recent one. So I'm surprised it took so long. But I guess there was going to be one that might have been they might have started filming last year. Breck Eisner was going to direct it, but he dropped out or something happened. And then summer of 2015, they hired new writers, Jeremiah Friedman and Nick Palmer, and they started writing it, but a director hasn't been in place yet. So it could all be just a bunch of BS. And by the way, this list is not necessarily new, so this could be some news from 2015. So it could be the previous year when this happened. So I don't really know for sure because they're not really saying exactly what year that this news is coming from. It seems to me like it's in development hell. This is what happens when you have a movie that's in development hell. You have a film that has a screenplay, but you don't have a director, and it pretty much sits there. And to be honest, I'm fine with that. I don't think we need a Karate Kid remake sequel. But that's just me. The next one is the Kingsman: The Golden Circle. Now, the Kingsman Secret Service is a surprise hit for Fox. And I know there's been a lot of good things that I've heard about it. Some of my friends have seen it, they really enjoyed it. I just haven't got around to seeing it yet. I want to. I like the trailer. So one of these days, I will give it a look and I'll do a review of it and you'll hear my thoughts on it. But right now, I haven't seen it yet, so I can't really say whether or not I want a sequel. But for those of you who have seen the Kingsman Secret Service, there's a sequel in the works and called The Golden Circle. I think it's supposed to come out in 2018, I think. Or is it 2017? I don't think it's 2017. I think it's 2018. I could be wrong though. But yeah, there's supposed to be a new sequel, and so yeah. So look forward to that if you're a big fan of the Kingsman, the Secret Service, because there's going to be another one. Then they're also talking about maybe a third film. So if the second film is as successful or more successful than the first film, they want to do a third one. So you might have a Kingsman Secret Service trilogy. I could definitely say, even though I haven't even seen the Kingsman Secret Service, I could definitely say I'd rather see that sequel than some of these other sequels that are on this list. For instance, the next one, Last Witch Hunter 2, which I wasn't really impressed by the trailer for this movie, and a friend of mine saw the movie, pretty much said he said it was generic and kind of forgettable, which is pretty much what I thought the film was going to be from the trailer. So, and this is kind of an older list, by the way. So the film came out, it did nothing in the box office, so there's not going to be a sequel. It's just not going to happen. And so that's a good thing, to be honest, because the movie didn't get very good reviews. What disappointed in the box office. It was a disappointing film in multiple different ways, according to people who've seen it. And if you do like it, well, that's cool, but it's not going to get a sequel. Although Lionsgate has said recently that they're already after a sequel, but the box office performance is pretty crappy, so I don't know. But this is the same company who's making a sequel to The Mechanic with Jason Statham. All right, same company would rather make a sequel to that instead of doing Dread 2. So who knows? They might do The Last Witch Hunter 2 regardless of the disappointing box office receipts because they're kind of insane in the membrane. The next one is Layer Cake 2, which is not a straight sequel to the Matthew Vaughn helmed original, but it's kind of a sequel. It's like a spin-off. Um, it's based on the book. I guess there's a book. No, I mean there's a rights to Layer Cake sequel is a film called Viva La Madness. Oh yeah, they are books. The books are both were penned by J.J. Connolly. Statham will pick up the role played by Daniel Craig in the films. And while the books were linked to each other, Layer Cake and Viva La Madness look like they'll be very separate entities on screen. Statham said he was expecting to shoot the film pretty soon, but nothing has happened. The director hasn't been announced, so this is probably not going to happen. And the whole project may end up being made into a TV series instead. Haven't heard anything about that either. So, and this is another film where it's like, I haven't seen this movie. I haven't seen Layer Cake, so I don't know really what else to say. For those of you who have seen Layer Cake and are fans of it, let me know if you want a sequel in the comments down below. Uh, and you could also let me know if you don't want a sequel or a TV show. So yeah, I don't know, I do not know what else to say. I haven't seen Layer Cake. Now the next one, The Legend of Conan, is a film that Arnold wants to do. He wants to do another Conan film that will pick up his story of the character 3 decades after he last portrayed them and portrayed the character Conan in Conan the Destroyer. Sorry, I'm having a hard time speaking for some reason. Ignoring the Jason Momoa reboot, which is a good thing because that reboot was a piece of shit. The Legend of Conan is being written by Andrew Burloff with Chris Morgan and Frederick Malmberg producing. Apparently, they were thinking about doing this pretty much only if Terminator Genesis did well in the box office, and it didn't do that well. So I don't know. I don't know if they're going to do Legend of Conan. Part of me is kind of curious about it to see what Arnold can bring to Conan again after all these years. Could be nice, brutal, violent sword and sorcery flick, something that we haven't seen in a long time. But another part of me is like, no, Arnold's too old. I don't know if he could really pull it off. And also, a lot of Arnold's films lately have been pretty shitty. I mean, after The Last Stand, it's been kind of downhill from there. I liked Escape Plan more than a lot of people did, but I wouldn't say it's one of his best films. So, and I haven't seen Maggie, but I haven't heard good things about it. And Terminator Genesis was a piece of shit. It was, Terminator Genisys to me. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know about Legend of Conan. Part of me is kind of interested, and another part of me is like, maybe it's just a little too late. So there's that one. And then that's pretty much just something that Arnold wants to do, like Twins 3, that is pretty much stuck in development. And I think that's probably where it will remain. Even though I remember hearing a rumor that one of the proposed directors for it was Paul Verhoeven, and if that's the case, I would be all 100% on board with the project, regardless of my doubts of Arnold's output, because I really want his recent output, because I want to see Paul Verhoeven make a return to films like, Flesh and Blood and RoboCop and Total Recall, and to have him reunite with Arnold and do an epic swordplay film, which is something he wanted to do with Arnold for the film Crusade. I would definitely be interested in the project, to say the least, if Paul Verhoeven was on board. But right now, there's no definite proof that he's on board, so I don't know. Pretty much just, I don't know about it with The Legend of Conan. Now, the Lego Movie sequel, I'm looking forward to, because I really like the Lego Movie. I thought it was very clever. I thought it was very entertaining. It was fun. It's a film that I personally really enjoyed in a lot of ways, because I grew up with Legos, and so it was a nice love letter to Legos, and it was actually pretty funny, and had stuff for the adults. It wasn't just a kids movie, and yeah, I liked the film. So I'm looking forward to a sequel. It's supposed to come back. It's been shuffled to May 2018 because they're gonna do the Lego Batman movie first, and that looks like it might be fun. The Lego Batman spinoff. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know what else to say about the Lego Movie sequel. It's just something that's announced. They're gonna work on it. It's slated for a 2018 release. So if you like the Lego Movie, you're getting another Lego Movie, and you're also getting another um, you're getting a Lego spinoff. You're getting Lego Batman the movie, which is I think is coming out. Is it this year or next year? Yeah, it's coming out. It's definitely coming out either later this year. I don't think it's this year. It's next year. It's coming out next year in 2017, around the same time as John Wick Chapter 2. So John Wick 2 is getting a competition from the Lego Movie sequel. The next one on the list is London Has Fallen. It's already come out. It's gotten pretty bad reviews. Trailers didn't interest me. I didn't mind Olympus Has Fallen, but I didn't really think it needed a sequel, especially with the title as cringe-inducing as London Has Fallen. And also, I haven't heard a lot of good things about it, and the trailer didn't wow me with its horrible-looking CGI. So I don't know. It's a movie I'll probably watch sometime down the road, and you'll hear my thoughts on it. But not anytime soon. I'll wait till it comes out on home video. Lucy 2, uh, although, which is interesting because Luc Besson was quoted saying that Lucy isn't made for sequels, but a follow-up has been announced anyway. Scarlett Johansson isn't officially attached yet, but it is her character's name in the title, so you'd expect her to return. I don't know how they're going to do this, because the film pretty much wrapped up pretty nicely. Doing a sequel would pretty much undo everything that happened in the third act of the film. So I really don't see why we need a Lucy 2. And the film didn't do that well, if I remember correctly. I think it was okay in the box office, but didn't do that well critically. I was one of the few. I was one of the few people who enjoyed it, but it's definitely a film that's not for everybody. And I don't know. I don't think a sequel is necessary. I think it's good as a one-off type film. It's just one movie. We don't need a sequel. We don't need a Lucy franchise. This next one, I mean, if I had to choose between Lucy 2 or MacGruber 2, I'm going to choose Lucy 2, because at least I liked Lucy. MacGruber, I hated it. I hated that skit on SNL anyway. I thought it was unfunny. I thought it was shitty. I thought it was awful. And I thought the movie was just as bad. So Will Forte is an act. He wants to do MacGruber 2. It's an active project for him, but this film has been teased a bunch of times, but it's never happened, and it's probably not going to happen. The first film wasn't that successful in the box office, and critics weren't really high on it. There's some people who like it, kind of find it as like a cult movie, but MacGruber 2, Electric Boogaloo, not going to happen, and that's a good thing. If it does happen, well, I guess Hollywood is really running out of ideas and running out of franchises. The next one is another one I have no desire to see, and I hope does not happen. Machete Kills again in space. Yeah, please. I'm done with Machete. I'm done with the Machete films. They suck. Danny Trejo is a very bland, boring lead, and Kills was was really bad. It managed to be even worse than the first film. Um, the box office returns were very poor for Machete Kills, but the film was so cheap to make, and that's why it ended up making a profit anyway. So they are still there's still a third film planned, and it's still active, and Danny Trejo wants to do it. And he recently confirmed earlier in 2015 that he and director Robert Rodriguez, Robbie Rod, were set to work on the movie later this year. We've heard little since then, though, according to Den of Geek. So I guess apparently this is like a 2015, some 2015 news. So yeah, I think this project is dead. And a good thing. It should be. It's a stupid idea. It's a stupid concept, and these movies suck. So I don't want to see a third film. I don't want to see Machete Kills again in space. I don't want to see Machete in space. It'll be a waste of money, a waste of resources, and a waste of people's time. I don't even want to see it direct to video. No, thank you. No mas. Then we have Madagascar 4, which it's supposed to happen in May 2016, but we know that's not happening. And yeah, I don't know what else to say about that. Haven't seen the Madagascar films, so I can't really say whether or not I want another one. So yeah, that's it. You have Mad Max 5, which is supposed to be after the sequel to Fury Road. It's called Mad Max The Wasteland. Whether it focuses more on Max or Furiosa, this remains to be seen. It's certainly going to take a while to get figured out. So a 2018 release could honestly be kind of ambitious. So pretty much Fury Road 2, Mad Max 5, Mad Max The Wasteland is in development, but there isn't much else to go off of with that right now. It hasn't started shooting. I don't even think a script is written yet. It's just up in the air. It's just a concept right now. If they are going to go forward with this, give Mad Max a bigger role in Mad Max. I liked Fury Road. I didn't love it, but I did like it, and Charlize Theron was great as Furiosa, and I still want her to be a part of the film. But if you don't want to tell her story, if you just want to have her story be a one-off in Fury Road, and you follow Max with The Wasteland, I'd be fine with that. I'd be totally okay with that because I want to see more Mad Max. And honestly, I would really like to see the return of Mel Gibson to the Mad Max role. An older Mad Max, you can make things work out. He doesn't have to do a lot of physical stunts. He doesn't have to do a lot of that. I think that would be pretty interesting. I think that would be really cool to see Mel Gibson return to the franchise and have this really be Mad Max 5 and not like a film that kind of takes place in between the events of the Road Warrior and Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, or doesn't actually bring back Mel Gibson. I think people have kind of. I'm willing to give him another shot. I'm willing to let water be under the bridge. I'm willing to let that happen. He said some stupid shit, and but he's already apologized for it, and I'm willing to give him another shot, and I would love to see him play Mad Max again. So that's just how I feel about Mad Max: The Wasteland. I would love to see Mel Gibson come back and instead of Tom Hardy, because Tom Hardy, I just think, honestly, after a second view, he was just really underwhelming as Max. He was just a bunch of grunts. Like I said, he's Tim the Toolman Taylor of The Wasteland. But anyway, that that's that's just my thoughts on Mad Max: The Wasteland. And then we have Maleficent 2, which was a film that made a decent amount of money for Disney. Uh, it kind of wasn't as big as they wanted it to be, but it still made over $750 million. I haven't seen it. I know Angelina Jolie was in it. I don't know what else to say about Maleficent 2, except I haven't seen the first film, so I don't know if I want a sequel. MallBrats, which is supposed to be sequel to Mallrats. I don't really want to see that, and the main reason why is because Kevin Smith is a shell of himself as a director. He smoked so much pot that he's killed half the brain cells in his fucking brain, and he just does not know how to direct good movies anymore. So I don't want to see Mallrats 2. I don't want to see any more films by Kevin Smith, to be honest. So, yeah, that's just my thoughts. I'm gonna leave it at that. Then we have Mary Poppins 2, which is like, why? We don't really need Mary Poppins 2, especially this many years down the road. Unnecessary. Let's just not do this. It's supposed to be, I guess it's supposed to be based on, because there are Mary Poppins sequels in book form, but I don't think we need another Mary Poppins. But that's just me personally. Um, that's all I have to say about that. Maze Runner: The Death Cure. I'd never read the books, never seen the films. There's a bunch of these are more of these young adult adaptations of young adult books that are popular, like The Hunger Games, young adult post-apocalyptic sci-fi movies, and I guess there's gonna be a fourth one. And Maze Runner 3 is supposed to be out in January 2017. And just like the Hunger Games, the last one, they're going to split up the Death Cure in two parts. So, can't really say I'm looking forward to it, because I haven't seen the other films. Then we have Mechanic 2. Like I'm saying, it's happening. The Mechanic 2, which is known as Mechanic Resurrection. It's going to come out in 2016. It's going to come out this year in the summer. And Statham is back. Simon West is not directing it. It's Dennis Gansel, who's directed movies I've never seen called The Follower and The Fourth State. And it's also going to have Tommy Lee Jones, Jessica Alba, and Michelle Yeoh in it. Hey, maybe it'll be better than The Mechanic. I highly doubt it, though, because Jason Statham hasn't done a truly good, if not great film uh, in a long time where he's been the star. So, I mean, Parker wasn't. I haven't seen that, but I haven't heard very many good things about it. The trailer did not interest me. And then you have The Mechanic. I hated that movie. I didn't review it, but it was so forgettable. I don't even know what I could have said about it, except the stupidity of surfing down a fucking building or some shit. That's what I remember. That's a you said somebody surfs down a building. Yeah, just unnecessary. You're gonna do the Mechanic 2 6 years, 5 years after the first film, but you won't do Dread 2. I mean, this is just, I don't understand it. I don't get it, Lionsgate. I don't understand your thought process here. Then you have Men in Black 4, which is going to be a sequel slash crossover with the Jump Street films. So, I already talked about this. Mission Impossible 6, sequel to Rogue Nation, which I'm definitely looking forward to, honestly, because I really like Rogue Nation. So, we shall see what happens with that. There's not much else info about it. It's just Tom Cruise is that they may well shoot next summer, so they might shoot this year sometime, and maybe the movie will come out as soon as 2017. But that's all the info that there is right now about MI6. Then you have Mrs. Brown's Boys D movie 2, some UK movie, Mrs. Brown's Boys the movie. It It was a huge hit in the British box office. I think it's based on this show on UK television. So that's for you folks in the UK. If you really love the Mrs. Brown's Boys, the movie, you're getting a sequel. Then we have Need for Speed 2, which I don't, why is this happening? Need for Speed 2, the Need for Speed movie that came out, did not win critics over. It wasn't really, but it was made a decent amount of money. It still made $200 million. So they want to do another one. And so, yeah, whether you want it or not, some trio of Chinese companies, including the China Movie Channel, they're working with EA to push the Need for Speed sequel forward. And it'll probably be one of those reboot/sequels. Wonderful. I haven't seen Need for Speed. I have no desire to see it. It looked like a poor man's Fast and Furious. Then we have Now You See Me, the second act, which is coming out this year. I never saw Now You See Me. It didn't interest me. I have no desire to see the sequel. I really don't. But if you love Now You See Me, here's Now You See Me 2. And Lionsgate's really confident about the success of Now You See Me 2, that they've already worked on the planning stages of Now You See Me 3. So if you love Now You See Me, you're going to get a second film and a third film potentially. But if the second film doesn't do very well, then Now You See Me 3 is going to be Now You See Me, Now You Don't. Because you're not going to see it. Now, even though I haven't seen Now You See Me, and I have no desire to see Now You See Me 2, I'm pretty sure I probably like those movies more than the next film on the list, and pretty sure I honestly would support sequels to that. A film that I've never seen over this fucking sequel, which is coming out this year, and it's Ouija 2. Board Game, the movie, Board Game Horror, the movie, with stupid teens, part 2, with fucking shitty CGI, PG-13 bullshit. We're getting more. And why? Well, because Ouija, for some stupid reason, made over $100 million worldwide. And it made a ton of money. It made a decent amount of money in the domestic box office. And it was a cheap movie to make. It only cost like $5 million or $2 million or whatever. It's a very cheap film. So they made a ton of profit, which is fucking lame. It's ridiculous. I can't believe Ouija it made $80 million worldwide at the box office, and a sequel's coming out. And that's what happens when you just blindly go see anything horror related in the theater just to support the horror genre. You get fucking shitty movies like Ouija that make a ton of money and then get a franchise. I want new franchises, like The Conjuring, which is good. I'm looking forward to The Conjuring 2. But I don't want shitty franchises. I don't want shitty new franchises, like Ouija, with its evil pilot light of doom shit. Fucking, God, Barney the dinosaur, or whatever. I don't think Barney was in it, but I made it up. And I completely forgot about that movie, for a good reason, because it's fucking forgettable. It's a piece of shit. Supposed to come out in October. Happy Halloween! Here's Ouija 2. You might as well take a shit in a brown paper bag and light it on fire and give it to us. Might as well give me that. Drop that on my doorstep, because that's the same thing. Anyway, you have Pacific Rim 2, which I know some people are looking forward to. I'm not, because I did not like Pacific Rim, aka Pacific Rim Job, where it was like a really bland, lame, boring mix of Top Gun and Independence Day, and the only time I ever really liked it was when you had the robots punching some monsters. But there wasn't really that much. To be honest, there was more stupid, boring, stupid shit with the plot that was fucking lame, with stupid shit. Like, we're gonna build a giant wall to hold back these giant monsters, to hold back these kaiju. That doesn't fucking work. Of course not. What, did Donald Trump come up with that idea? Did he ghostwrite the screenplay? And then you have this. It just Charlie Hunnam's a very bland lead, And then it was just, yeah, I'm just not a fan of the film. It wasn't that much fun to me because the only fun I had was when the robot was fighting the kaiju, but the whole film, there wasn't, the most of the film was not robots fighting kaiju. It was this other stupid shit and this other stuff with the story and the plot that wasn't that interesting. And I just didn't care for it. But I know a lot of people liked it, so it's a project that's been put on hold because of the disappointing box office returns of Pacific Rim. So who knows? It may happen, it may not. For me personally, I'd be fine if it didn't. Then we have Paddington 2, which I guess the Paddington Bear movie was a hit, so they're wanting to do a sequel. Haven't seen Paddington, so I don't know what to say. Paranormal Activity 5. Yeah, Paranormal Activity, Paranormal Fucktivity, The Ghost Dimension. This already came out in October. So this is, like I said, this is kind of an older list. This movie's already came out. It's pretty much, I haven't seen it. Sounds like a piece of shit. Stupid title, The Ghost Dimension. And I hope this franchise is over with. I hope they're done. No more. I don't need any more. I'm not asking for any more. Enough. Enough is enough with the Paranormal Activity movies. Then we have Pirates of the Caribbean 5, which I was not a fan of on Stranger Tides, but it made a fuck ton of money. So Disney's like, yeah, we're going to do it. I guess Orlando Bloom is going to return to the cast as well as Jeffrey Rush. The film is due in July 2017. There's new directors. Joachim Ronning and Espen Sandberg are going to direct it. Of course, Johnny Depp is coming back as Captain Jack Sparrow. And you better not get rid of that rum because you're probably going to need it in order to enjoy this movie. I'm just throwing that out there. I wasn't a fan of On Stranger Tides. I didn't even really like the sequels to the first Pirates of the Caribbean. I like the first film, and the rest of them I'm not really the biggest fan of. But they make a shit ton of money, so nothing I could say is going to stop it from happening. But if you ask me, I'm done. I don't want any more Pirates of the Caribbean movies. But that's just me personally. It's totally fine if you want more, and you want more of Johnny Depp playing a pirate. Seems like a lot of people do because these movies make huge money. Then we have Pitch Perfect 3. Speaking of movies that make huge money, Pitch Perfect films. Well, I guess because they're for teenage girls to go see movies that are basically a lot like Glee. Not my audience. I'm not a part of this audience. This is not a film for me. I don't know what to say. I've never seen Pitch Perfect. I haven't seen Pitch Perfect 2. I don't care about Pitch Perfect 3. Then we have The Predator, which is Predator 4. Now, this is kind of interesting, and part of me, I really want to have hope for this. I really want to be like, this is going to be good. It's going to be great. Shane Black is going to potentially direct it. Shane Black's going to direct it. Fred Decker is working on the script. And I love Fred, and it's really great to see that he's getting a comeback in Hollywood. He's got another job, at least writing. And but it's something that's a little bit a few years off. Maybe 2017, probably not 2017. Maybe 2018, maybe 2019. I remember reading something where they're actually actively trying to get Arnold involved, but there's no definite yes, he's in the film yet. So I don't know what to say. It's just a concept right now. I don't really like the name The Predator. I think that's just lame. Come up with a subtitle: Predator, Cold Blood, Predator, Hunter's Planet, Predator. There's plenty of stuff. There's plenty of names you could use from the Predator comics from Dark Horse. You could do that. There's plenty of stuff. Predator, Concrete Jungle. There's plenty of stuff. There's plenty of stuff you can use. With the Predator, other than just calling it The Predator. What I would really like, and this would never happen, but this is like a wish come true. You'd have a team up with Harrigan and Dutch. I mean, you'd have Arnold back as Dutch, and you'd have Danny Glover coming back as Harrigan, and they team up, and fight off a predator invasion. I think that would be fucking awesome. It would be amazing. It would be so cool. It'd be a great way to give back to fans of Predator 2 and fans of Predator, and it would be a great way to cap off the franchise. But that idea is too awesome. That's why it's never gonna happen. They'll probably do some like sequel reboot shit like they did with Predators. And that's why I'm leery of this. And that's why I wish I had more hope for it, but I don't because of because of Predators, which is pretty much just a backdoor remake of Predator. So we'll see what happens. I will have to wait till like a trailer at least before I can determine any sort of definitive idea on whether or not The Predator is going to be a potentially good movie or a potential disaster. I don't really know yet. All I know is that this is kind of one of those things where, like Legend of Conan, where I'm like, I don't know if I want it, but then I'm kind of like, maybe it's just one of those things where I was like, I don't know yet. Then we have like the Princess Diaries 3, which I'm going to skip. I don't really think that's going to happen. Why would Anne Hathaway do a third Princess Diaries movie, especially now at this point in her career? Then we have Project XX, which is a sequel to Project X. No, not the Matthew Project movie, the teen comedy film. I haven't seen Project X, the original Project X, the teen comedy, so I don't know what to say about it. So yeah, if you like that one, you're getting a sequel, which I guess is supposed to come out in 2016 this year. I don't know if that's actually going to happen. I haven't seen a trailer yet. It's supposed to come out in August. I don't know if this is going to happen. But now the Purge 3, that is definitely happening. It's called the Purge Election Night, and it's coming out this year in July. I still haven't seen Purge Anarchy. I have the film. I hated the Purge. I hated the first film, but I've heard good things about the sequel with Frank Grillo. It's kind of like Escape from New York, meets the Punisher. So I definitely am gonna give that film a look eventually. Maybe in time before election night. And and then if I like it, then maybe sometime down the road, maybe I'll check out election night. But I saw the trailer for election night. It looked it didn't look that good, and it looked like even more of an Escape from New York ripoff than Purge Anarchy did. Straight with the political person who needs to be rescued and needs to be protected by the group of crazies in the city. So yeah, I guess this is the Escape from New York remake that that all these studios are so gung ho about. Well, they couldn't get it off the ground yet, so they're like, we'll make it with the Purge election night. Yeah, I don't know what to say about it because I haven't seen the Purge Anarchy. But I have seen the trailer for it, and it didn't really look that good. And then the last film on this list is Puss in Boots 2, 9 Lives and 40 Thieves. Don't know what to say. I haven't seen Puss in Boots. I didn't like that character that Antonio Banderas played. So if you like Puss in Boots and you like that character from Shrek and you like that movie, well, there's going to be a sequel. Possibly. In like 2018. So look forward to that. Anyway, that's it. That's it for this part of the third part of 164 upcoming movie sequels. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay tuned for part 4, which I will see if I can get that done maybe on Monday, but maybe post it on Tuesday. I'm going to try to get it done as soon as possible. But anyway, either way, thank you for watching. And as usual, I will see you guys later. See ya.